our host, Mr. Milad Foroutan. The video starts and says, the bakeries couldn't anymore satisfy the needs of the customers, and this is when Mehdi started acting and decided to start producing bread on his own. That was the point of start for Non Sahar. Mehdi Khanmohammadi is truly a person who made a launch opportunity for himself out of a crisis because he wanted and he learned and did not get sidelined. Non Sahar is one of the biggest manufacturers of bread in Iran, and ever since 1385, they've all conducting many and have had many courses dedicated to the manufacturing of bread. We in Chame have the honor to host a guest who not only paved a new road but also revolutionized the industry he stepped in. Mehdi Khanmohammadi, the founder of Non Sahar Industries. The coordinator says we are honored to have Mr. Mehdi Khanmohammadi. I'd like to begin with the name of God. We're very honored to have you here. Really. I would love to have another round of applause for Mr. Khanmohammadi here. Mr. Khanmohammadi says thank you. Mr. Foroutan doesn't really accept it. I knew this would be a problem. I'm at your service, Mr. Mohammad. Mr. Khanmohammadi says, coordinator says, could you tell me what was the story behind your first income? Mr. Khanmohammadi says, let me please begin. I'd like to begin with the name of God, and I like to say hello to every attendee here. I hope this gathering and event would be beneficial to every one of us, and I hope that experiences and stories we're going to share, and also our first productions and manufacturings and the stories about them would be effective and also useful to everyone here. Coordinator repeats, what was the story behind your first income? I was a businessman from an early age, and I took up that from my father. He had a shop, and I used to help him in that shop. So the story starts like this. I was attending a marriage ceremony of 3-day wedding. At that time, we had 3-day weddings. Some people might even say, remember the ones who were 7-day weddings. And when we came back, we saw that most of our life had been stolen. We later found that the police officer in charge of the nearest police station, who was our neighbor, and I remember at that time we had 2 courtyards. We had a house and also a small house. We had the people who were working for us living there. And in front of it there was another space, and we had a shop there. And we came back, we saw that none of the rooms in our house there was nothing in there. It was also the shop that my father had, the fabric shop he had, also was empty fully as well. And I remember at one we had hid some cash somewhere as well. They couldn't see it there, so they didn't see that. It was like, unfortunately, me and my brothers and my siblings and our father, we were just crying for like hours, and we had to at the end borrow some pillows from like uncles and stuff to just be able to sleep. Mr. Foroutan asks about the police officer. So Mr. Khanmohammadi starts, because we were kind of well off and known in the area, the police officer, or the main police chief in the town, was cooperating with the thieves, and they were operating with impunity. Like, it was up to a point that we saw half of our cattle that we had, we saw them in our neighbor's house. So most of the thieves or the people involved in there died. It got and years later, many years later, the wife of the neighbor who we saw the cattle in their house told him, "You got one foot in the grave, and I think you should ask for forgiveness for what you done from my dad." That's what she said. So to cut to the chase, he in front of the police officers and my dad and everything talked about and explained everything. And he said that, yeah, there were like 18 or 20 people who were thieves, and we've operated with them, or we cooperated with them. They were supposed to give me their cattle, or one of the cattle at least, and one of the cows, but they didn't. They were supposed to give me 5 cows, but they just gave me one. And he said, so I am unfortunately approaching death, and I got one foot in the grave. But then, in a strange event, he actually got cured, and nothing happened to him, and he could never even look at my father's eyes anymore. It was at the same time I was graduating 6th grade, I think. And me and my brothers were shepherding some animals, some cattle. I told my brother or younger brother to just get them home and cross the road we were facing. And I also told my young brother, if they ask about me, just tell them that I'm going to Tehran. And I've been at that point, I have been telling my parents that I would do this for a long time and I want to do that. And I had saved up some money little by little. We call it 8 tomans, let's say. It was in 1347. I paid 5 of those tomans to a bus to get me to Tehran. I hadn't just saved 5,000, I just had a bit of money. I had about like 5 or 8,000, and I spent 2,000 of that for lunch. And when I got to Tehran, I spent 3,000 of it to get some ice cream. And then after getting to Tehran, I bought some ice cream for 2,000, and that prompted me to have like a gallery or little book for collecting my bills, water bill, Toman bills, and I still have that 2,000 to this day. And at noon, I arrived at my uncle's house, and he asked me, may peace be upon his soul. He asked me, why are you here? What are you doing here? I told him that I'm gonna be working here. And he told me, you can stay for the day, but I cannot be responsible for you. You'll have dinner and lunch, and then you'll go tomorrow morning, the first thing in the morning, you're gonna go home. I had lunch, not too much though, but I went to Imam Reza Hassan, that's a neighborhood in Tehran, and I knew one of my family acquaintances was working there in a cafe, in an old style cafe. And at the time, Imam Hussein Square was not very as good of a neighborhood as it is now. In that cafe, they had like an orchestra going on in the evenings. It was a Azari kind of orchestra, and it was really really crowded at that time, and it was very crowded. So as soon as it got crowded, I started helping. And the guy who was working there, I called him Uncle Haji. And as soon as he saw me, he just gave me a bit of money. He really liked me. He gave me a bit of money and told me, if you want to continue, you can come here tomorrow as well and start working. But the other acquaintance that I talked about, he every summer he would come to Abhar, the place I was born as well. And I told him, if you want to throw this guy out and throw our acquaintance out, and for me to come work here, I don't want to work here. I'm not bothering you too much, am I? They're clapping, and the coordinator asks Mr. Foroutan, was the applause to your liking? They say yes. I just told the guy in the cafe I would stay there if you keep my uncle there, but if you want to throw him out, I just can't accept that. The acquaintance is he was my step uncle, you could call it. I told him I would accept it if you just pay me 15,000 a month, and at that I think that month I made like 45,000, and the guy who was in charge of their Uncle Haji was quite fond of me. I saved up all that money at the 45,000. Even for like bathing, I would go to a place that was basically a soldier's barracks, and who let us, swim and also bathe in there. And I also sent my money to my dad, the 45,000, and it was one of the best days of my life. Or their life maybe even. They just said they were very happy. Even like I've been told they were running all over their village. And I think after a month, my step uncle left the cafe, and I saw that it was, not too profitable for me to stay, or just I didn't like it all that much. For the fact that my step uncle had to leave, I just went up the road a bit more, and just near the cafe itself, I found a job in a fruit shop. A local fruit shop, and it wasn't before long that was quite famous in that neighborhood, and also for that neighborhood and the people who would buy fruits. Between those people and customers, I become famous, and I made good slogans and sound. Coordinator asks, "Do you remember any of them?" And asks him, the lecturer, to say a few of them. Faroutan asks as well. And at that time, people who were selling fruits in fruit shops and all over the city, or street vendors, would have shouts, would have slogans. They were the normal ones, but I had made some as well. One I made was, "Oh, the unfair customer, come and see that we will sell 2 tomatoes for 6,000. Mr. Foroutan asks if he can do the rhythmic version the street vendors do. They laugh about it, but they can't. This was my slogan. I just said, "Oh, the offer customer," under the tayyara, or under the plane. It was an old word for train, a plane. I was getting so good at it that if someone wanted a kilogram of, for example, cucumbers, the amount that I would pick randomly would just be the 1 kilogram. Like, I was so good at it, and I was so good at weighing and also selling them as well. And the guy himself, my boss, actually increased my salary for like some 5,000 or 3,000 per month on his own. I didn't even ask him for that. Mr. Foroutan jumps in and says, "Let me get my piece. This is your due day, and in front of us we have a family, a large family from all over their country, and they like to see your past and the history you have and experience it." Yeah, and it was a nice thing to do, to make it more attractive and get us incorporated with your skill, which is very valuable for us. If you would do the rhythmic slogan, Mr. Khan, the lecturer, the lecturer says, ask what should I sing or say. He starts singing a Persian song, a very old one, which is very hard to interpret.
می پرستم من تو را همچون مسیحا من تو را همچون اهورا همچون عطر پاک گل ها دوست دارم می پرستم.
The coordinator or presenter says, "Thank you, Mr. Akbari. I have never done something like this. I swear to God. I really love Mr. Foroutan and also you as well. That's why I just did that. That's the first time I'm really embarrassed to do it, but that's why I did it. What else could you want from me? I don't have a voice now anymore. My voice was okay then, but not now." Mr. Faroutan gives something to Mehdi Khanmohammadi, and he asks them to sign it. Coordinator says, "You have an extra bill for your bill collection, gallery, for book, scrapbook." Mr. Faroutan signs the bill, the Toman bill, and writes, "For Mr. Khanmohammadi," and Mr. Khanmohammadi says, "Now it's time for Mr. Foroutan to sing for us." Mr. Khanmohammadi says, "Today is Friday, let's just give up on work and stuff and get to sing." And the coordinator says, "We're gonna do whatever we want just because it's Friday, huh?" Mr. Foroutan says, "I don't know how to sing myself, but I will try." And they laugh about it. Mr. Khanmohammadi says, "You made me laugh, so come on now." And Mr. Foroutan says, "You're a professional." Mr. Khanmohammadi says, "Where have you seen me singing? I was just shouting about cucumbers and like watermelon and stuff. Now, in front of an audience like this, you made me laugh. You made me sing." Mr. Khanmohammadi. Mr. Foroutan says, "Mr. Khanmohammadi. We're all from all over the country, and whenever they go, they're representatives or they're going to be carrying your way of thought here. From here, they're going to be your students. They're going to go around and say the greats of our industry are not they're self-made, they're knowledgeable, they are not they don't have too much vanity, they're not vain." And the singing that you just did showed that greats would stay great, and we would still be there, would remain great throughout. So you were saying, coordinator presenter says, so you were saying the guy increased your income, the guy in the food shop, so what happened? And so the person, my employer, went to go have lunch and gave me control of the shop. A person came in, he was I was known there, and he asked Mr. Mehdi, "How much are you getting paid?" And he said, "Yeah, I'm getting." I said, "I'm getting paid 6,000," and he said, "Okay, if you would work for me, I would pay you 9,000." And because I needed money, and my dad was basically bankrupt, and he needed me to send money for him, yeah, I said, "Okay, so just wait for my employer to come back, and then we'll see what happens." And the guy at the end, we talked a bit, we haggled a bit, but he accepted the 9,000 proposal that he just made. And I told my employer in the fruit shop that this guy is gonna pay me 9,000. I can't work for you no more. And he said, "I'm gonna pay 12,000 for you." Coordinator says it went up by just 3. Mr. Khanmohammadi starts again, and yeah, the guy got a bit angry from me for accepting the offer, and he just went and said, "Okay, you can go." Then after that, his older brother came around that evening and said, what happened and stuff. We explained, and the brother said that he's worth it. "I think you should give him the 12,000 a month." And so by his for his recommendation, I stayed there. And tomorrow, the other guy came around. I didn't really want to open the door for him. just was embarrassed by it. Just wanted to ask that. And I said, yeah, we have reached a conclusion, an agreement with my current employer, and yes, they accepted the 12,000 pounds a month. And then he came around and said, okay, I can pay you 15,000 pounds, whatever. I did to just, convey my message to my current employer. I just never could just tell him. And yeah, I said, okay, I'm working here and I've been trained here, so let's just continue working there. And I apologized from the other guy as well. So that time went on, and one time I had a customer from Amoli or National Shoe, the company, and he asked about me and stuff. He did the same thing, and I accepted because I wanted to. I wanted to improve and also get into a better industry. So I accepted the offer to work in Amoli or National Shoe, the company. I did it. I accepted that for my future. And I started working there, and again, I was getting paid 3,000, 4,000. Coordinator says from 12,000, it came back to 3,000. Mr. Iravani, my employer, God, peace be upon him. Like, if you're comparing it into entrepreneurs, I don't really see myself as an entrepreneur next to him. I really learned a lot from him. And after 6 months, my salary went up again to 14,000. And he appointed people, appointed positions based on their uniform. And after 6 months, I was the top employer, the top worker there. And he would appoint or give the employer of the month every month a gift. And at that time I had a house and I was living alone. I didn't know where to put the items he was giving me. I had a room, in there. I just didn't have room, so I had a room in other part of town. I put them there, and after some time I just sold them. So that was that. And my uncle, who I first came to his house when I came to Tehran, his job was this, that he bought bread from, sandwich bread for bakeries, and would sell them to, shops and things that of that nature that would need the bread. I found out that he was sick, and I took him to the hospital myself, and I distributed the bread that day myself and went to him again, and I had to, or donate some blood for him as well. He needed blood, and I knew his job as well. I knew where I had to distribute the bread and what to do and put where. He told me, just don't go. I have many customers and you can work for me. And I asked again, how much are you willing to say? How much are you willing to give me? And he said 6,000 pounds, and I told him, okay, uncle, it doesn't really make sense for me at this point. But I liked the job. I liked his job. In national caps or capture maybe. I knew them, and I know I was working there for a while, but whenever I went to a shop that needed bread for distribution, I would talk to the owner, the people working there. It really helped me, and I liked it myself. I would get introduced to them, and I liked it. My uncle told me, if you stay, I might be able. I really need you to stay for this 3 months. I was just sick and all that. And yeah, I told him that it's too low, and yeah, he's told me, okay, I can do something for you. I can increase the pay somehow. He did that, and after a while, I just got myself a bicycle and started distributing bread right there, and right then and there. So I started working for my uncle. After a while, with that same bicycle, I started working for my own and got separated from my uncle's business. I asked him, could you give me some, could you introduce me to some customers? And he told me, he refused and told me, no, you have to find your own customers. It was in 1350, I saw that Tehran was developing a lot. Everywhere I would be going, I saw some new buildings, so I would introduce myself to the people there in the buildings and would say that, okay, I'm in the business of distributing bread and stuff like that. And very quickly my business grew, and I believe it was, I thank God, and I believe it was the prayer of my parents who made this happen. And I stayed, many things would happen that, I would, get out of the bread business, but I stayed in this. Coordinator says, Mr. Khanmohammadi, you talked about National Shoe or Capture Milli and the experience you had there, and the CEO of that guy who really paid a lot of attention to the workers and would pay them, would be fair to them, give them gifts and stuff. Are you the same? Mr. Khanmohammadi says, yes, I myself, I've been working with a lot of young people, young workers. I like them as if they're my children. Whoever you can ask, they will tell you. I like them a lot, and I'm very satisfied with them. And I also believe they're satisfied from me. And today was the International Day of Worker. I was going to go to Abhar today, this morning. It was the election day, and I'll also have some piece in the pie in there. I have some stake in it. We in a factory we have in Abhar, we're producing frozen dough. And in our branches all over the city and all over the country, we don't need to bake them all that much. And this is the first time in our country that we have imported this equipment. We freeze the dough and we produce it somewhere in a factory, and we freeze it, and we with frozen containers in company with cars and lorries, we get them to our branches and also bake them in the branches, and also give them to our customers, so we wouldn't have to produce dough in the branch. And on our way there, it was the International Workers' Day, so I wanted to visit Caspian, the company there. The Caspian, I believe, is the factory. That is my factory. It was a very beautiful day. I had some gifts. I give some gifts to my workers as well. I gave a little speech as well. And after all that, going to Abhar for their election, also for my factory, I was really happy. I was buzzed till 12, like 12 in the midnight. I really like my workers and pay attention to them, and I really love the smell of bread that was emanating from the whole factory. Like, take me to like Kashan, and I would do like take me to a place like Kashan, and I do like other smells like flowers in Kashan, but for me bread is just something else. I just love it so much. To me, it's the smell of life. It smells of life. Bread smells of life. Coordinator asks, Mr. Foroutan, do you have any questions or anything you want to say, comments, anything? Thank you for accepting my request, and I really thank you for it. Mr. Khanmohammadi said they have gone through a lot of hardships, and they have gone through those hardships to show loyalty to their family. It's such a good thing for people not forget their family and not forget what they done for them. The first thing he did was to pay for his company and put them in a priority. It wasn't just 45,000 tomans as he said he saved. It was everything. It was his essence. And he thanked his company and showed gratitude using money, but it wasn't just about the money. Something interesting that he also said was that because I was looking forward to have my own job or my own business, I followed or I left a better paying job for something that I liked more. He forgot about the money and put his interests in priority. And someone who began from an individual and also something that started out from an individual, he is now paying a lot of attention and paying a lot because he said that he considers his workers part of his family. He's supporting thousands of people, which is something very valuable to me. And his last sentence was quite valuable to me as well. He said that to him bread smells of life, which is very valuable. Mr. Mohammad Khani said, thank you so much. Can I put this bill you gave me in my pocket? Yeah, I just asked for permission. It is very valuable for me. I just wanted to make sure you don't regret it. Coordinator starts to ask a question. Mr. Foroutan jumps in and says, I just want to give you an example and say something. In a live television show, I was invited as one of the first entrepreneurs and industrialists in to TV, to be on TV. Because I have known him and I also have known his family, I invited Mr. Khanmohammadi to be there. But it was a live TV show. I'm not going to say the name of it. I was there as an entrepreneur, something that was relevant at that time. I was sitting there and I heard some things that the presenter was saying that were completely against what I stand for and what my ideology is. I'm gonna say something from him. He was talking about failure and the hardships along the road. I told him, like, what are you talking about? Like, I told him it's not the way you're portraying it as. I don't know why. Either he had been bought or something, or why, but he started to criticize and annoy me, and on live TV no less. Mr. Khanmohammadi on live television as well. And most of the time when someone is on live TV, they try to just deal with their own and just deal with their own problems. And he started saying, if anyone is there to do something big, if Mr. Mohammad Khani could do it, it shows that the validity of this, that it can be done. And our dear friend, Mr. Khanmohammadi is our dear friend and dear lecturer and dear professor. We should teach, we should be learning from him. We should consider him a teacher. And that live TV show, unfortunately, which not fortunately actually, never didn't happen again or didn't get aired on TV for months. And after that, they had to apologize on behalf of others and for their criticisms and also for what they portrayed us, how they portrayed us on TV. They had to apologize for that. And it was very easy for me and for Mr. Mohammad Khani to lose respect for him, but he did not give up on me, or he didn't stand for the criticisms and their false portrayals. He talked, he argued, and it was very valuable for me. That experience and the things he did, that's an experience that I wanted to share. Thank you so much. And they also brought us back to that live TV show to make reprimands. So I tell you this, in whatever situation you're in, be grateful to the ones who had serviced and served you and done right by you. So the coordinator says, after your experience in Caption Mehdi or national show, and also your experiences with your uncle and his business, you went on and had a small shop in a park. Could you tell me about that experience? So, when as I was distributing bread and doing that with my uncle, and because I was very active and did a lot of things, like I used to like wake up at 5 a.m. and wouldn't sleep till 5, and in the meanwhile I would go to classes and school and continue my education. I did that as well. I one day went to Sa'i Park in Tehran, and I saw that the booth for the little shop they had was so, there was nothing going on there. It was kind of bad, to be honest. I asked him and talked to him and asked, and he seemed to have rented the shop in the park. I went to their offices of the park and talked to them, and they said that there was only 1 month remaining for the guy who's currently renting it. And I was I asked him if you could, the booth or the shop you have right now, the position of it is not very lucrative. So if I asked them if there's possible, could you like make another one, and I would rent that one. And they told me, and I also brought my mom to negotiate there and pull some strings and stuff like that. And she told me, okay, the expenses of that booth and shop is on you, and you have to do it. And yeah, and they also told me that you're responsible for building your booth that you want, and then you have to rent it yourself as well. And yeah, I did that. I worked in there for a while. After that, I hired an employee to put him there, and they would sell their usual affair in a park, chips and drinks and all kind of stuff like that. And also in Jamshidi Park, we also had a booth or little shop there. And when time reached to like 1357, we were distributing bread to soldier barracks, military bases and shops and everything. We were also serving, the booths and other parks, and also near military bases. We were lending them a lot of and giving them some food, distributing food and also bread to them. Coordinator asked, "Where does the name Non Sahar come from?" So Mr. Mohammad Khani starts laughing. Coordinator says there seems to be some type of problem with it, like the last question, some type of controversy. Mr. Faroutan says, yeah, it reminds me of that story, the guy saying, can I say, can I say, can I say? So, Mr. Mohammad Khani says, how long have you known me? It's not more than 2 hours, is it? My wife has been with me for 40 years. She still doesn't know who Sahar is, and this guy's trying to find it out in 2 hours. Are you that smart? Why are you trying to be slick? Mr. Faroutan says, don't worry, I'm just going to call the missus and I'm going to tell her. Don't worry about it at all. Okay, I'm going to fix it right now. Mr. Mohammad Khani says I'm going to fix it now. So, we said that we provided bread for military bases and also, others. There was a base that was for the Navy. I had put some bread on my motorcycle to just, give them to the guard. They were doing their usual routine of marching in the morning. At the same time, there was a supermarket that have opened at the end of the alley in Bukharest alley in Tehran. It was for Mr. Kashani's family. I was distributing bread, and they asked in the supermarket, why doesn't this invoice have any name on it? The guy who had rented who had given me the bread has written Nemune. The name of the bakery was Nemune, and I didn't like it. And I was looking, and then I saw the sun shining, and it was early morning, so I thought I would just say, what a good name would Sahar be? That was a joke I made at the beginning. What Sahar in Persian basically means, in Persian it means dawn. So the joke I made to make you laugh, but that was the real story behind the name. The coordinator says, I hope to God it's actually true. And yeah, Mr. Faroutan is gonna say his part of the story now. Mr. Mohammad says, thank you, and I really appreciate Mr. Faroutan as a father and as a teacher. So the coordinator starts, then you get the Polarumi branch and establish Nana Sahar. You import the equipment from Germany. What was the story behind the importing those equipment? So, at first we didn't even have a mixer for the dough, we did it by hand, and we had like a brick oven as well. Very hard days, if I say so myself. Sometimes we didn't have water, we would have water sent to us from other places. We had a customer called Mr. Eisinger who lived in the alley behind our place, and he would always tell us, he was the CEO of a company in Germany, he would always tell us that we have and we are producing automated machinery for making bread, and we've given it to some military bases and other stuff in Iran itself. Unfortunately, I was scared. Even the people who worked with me, they told us, if you break down the oven, this oven that you're bringing here, it might have the risk of the people who are working for me. They told us, the bakers, it might have a risk of just not selling. It might not be popular. I took the risk. I went to Germany myself, and I saw the machinery. I bought it myself. I paid it upfront 15%. At that time, our country had more of a credit, let's say, in the eyes of the international community. So, and Mr. Eisinger himself, the person who was in Iran, he actually vouched for me because I lacked certain requirements that I needed for that to get a loan. And that was how I imported the machinery and equipment for our company, and most of my workers were working with that equipment at that time. Miss Coordinator starts. If there was ever a problem in your company with the machinery you imported, you would fix it yourself. Where did that knowledge and expertise come from? Mr. Mohammad Khani goes on. It progressed to a point where if there was a problem anywhere, before the revolution, I bought the equipment in 54. I bought the bakery in 1350, and at the same time, very close to it, I imported the machinery. And at that time, if something went wrong, anything, they would be a call away, and they would be in our place, in our factories, in about 30 minutes. Not factories, but just shops. And the Germans over there that we were accustomed to, they were in. Most often than not, they would be in Polarumi, the neighborhood that had the first Nana Sahar branch. And most of our customers, any company, any German company in Iran that was active before the revolution, were our customers, which has really helped us improve. And after the revolution, unfortunately, without any serving or anything to any announcement, they just left and that company basically just completely left the Iranian market. Whenever my brother-in-law also worked for me, and he was into and he wanted to work in mechanic capacity, and at the end even studied that. Whenever these people would come to fix something, the German people, my brother-in-law was there and would start learning. And little by little we found out that it wasn't all that hard of a thing to do, so we just did it on our own. My brother-in-law cooperated on this, and also we started giving services, and these fixing and these mechanical services, to other companies and other people who have this machinery. And at first it was free, and then we charged a bit of money for it as well. And one of the customers for this service brought us a rolling machine for fixing. My brother-in-law at one point told me, okay, if you give me like 10,000 tomans at that time, I would just copy this for you. I would just make another one. And I had a place, and we had places, we had facilities and stuff, and we had resources, so we gave him that. And he did it, and that machine is still working to this day. And then he told me, okay, if you can give me 10,000 tomans, I can make 10. That was what led us to being in a position right now. We opened up more factories. We have the biggest factory producing and manufacturing machinery for baking and bakery equipment in Iran as of right now, and we're also importing the machinery we're making. So that was then how we got into a position where we could do that. And I'd also like to invite everyone here, or you guys as well, to the opening ceremony for the second phase of the factory we talked about in Yusufabad. That was manufacturing baking machinery, bakery machinery, which is very nice, and it's the first person, an event like this is the first time it's happening in Iran. And it is the first time we're doing something like this in Iran, but this is for man-controlled machinery. If we want to have a fully automated line of production, we would need to have some machinery from the beginning part or beginning stages of the production line, and we need to import those. And we're hoping that other colleagues of ours would import these someday. And we have great colleagues in Isfahan as well, who we have sessions with, who are active in the packaging fields, and they're active in that. So we would hope someday we would import these kind of machinery. From the beginning, I had always said, and I always believe, that we should not be dependent, at the very least, on this matter of bread on other countries, which is something that we should never be dependent on them. It is a difficult thing for them, but if companies are there and producing and have machinery that we produce, we are serving them. Coordinator says, please have a round of applause in honor of what Mr. Mohammad Khani just said. Mr. Foroutan just starts. One of the interesting things that Mr. Mohammad Khani did was that he was not ignorant to the things that he needs to do to develop, and the things he needs to learn, the expertise he needs to acquire to develop and progress his business further, and the academic aspect of them as well. He did not ignore those parts. One of the interesting things he said was, if a person has enough credit, even though he might not have enough money, he can progress and develop a business. And I believe credit is the most important things of in entrepreneurship. And even if you have money, you just have money, that doesn't bring you more money. Credit is more important than money, in my belief. they have been able to reach the level of the biggest factories in the field of baking goods and bread as well. And also they have had many educational facilities and institutes to train a lot of aspiring workers who need the education, which I believe garners another round of applause. And everyone, I cannot accept that round of applause. Please have one more. Where are the people who whistle for me? Please, my whistling friends, go on, rejoice. And thank you for your kindness. So, I have a coordinator says, I have another question from Mr. Khanmohammadi, and then we can be here for the Q&A for about 2 questions. You have established the first university of bread university. Why did you do it? Why did you? What was the reason behind it? And first, when you went to that idea to your board, what was their reaction? First, something I say a lot of times, when you want to have a good product, a good quality product, you need a few factors. Good standard on ingredients, machinery and equipment, and dedicated human resources. If you don't have these, if you don't have the last one, if you have the best ingredients from America, best machinery from Germany, and you give that to a person who doesn't know what bread is, doesn't know what hygiene is in the bread making process, they're 100% going to make mistakes, and they will never be able to produce a good product on that. With that. So before going to university, most of the exhibitions that was conducted and done with the field of bread, I attended most of them. Can I say an experience I had in these exhibitions? Yes, you can. So me and a few colleagues were invited, so we decided to make a group to go together. It was Anuga in Goal in Germany, the city. About 40 people joined us in the group to join and attend that exhibition. Most of the people who were there, like 30, were present only for the first day, and after that they just went and did whatever they wanted to. I had a translator who was a student over there in Germany. I paid for his expenses and stuff. He was my translator for the 4 days that I was there, and all of the 4 days that I was there, I would be going to booths and stuff, seeing everything, not like the others. And I had also on 6 separate days, I went to visits and tours of factories and stuff like that. And when we decided to establish fund our own factories, and I actually have a habit of this. Whenever I want to do something or enter a market, I first learn it myself. Even in making bread, I used to do the thing. I actually learned how to make bread, and actually had I had a position there. I was the best baker in my own first branch in Nanasaha, and I continued that. Now that we have a factory, now we're doing things with machinery. I try to attend and any workshop or educational institute that was getting ordained or getting conducted, starting in Europe for bakery and baking goods, and I have certificates for it as well. I have a lot of information about and I'm still researching, and I don't know myself as someone who knows everything about this industry. I still do the research on who's the biggest manufacturer of machinery, what are the most popular breads in this country or that country. I really looking for or always looking for new information on the bread and the industry. Always, and like even on Telegram and social media, I look for information. I love my workers, and I love the people who I'm serving, and because this brand didn't come from like TV deals or reality shows. It came from people buying bread and putting it on their table. And that's why I really love the energy that I get from my customers. That's why I love the job I'm doing. And I'm hoping to serve my people in a way that on the day or the before I pass away, I could see, or I would see the respect of bread, or would be the thing I wanted. I wouldn't see bread going to waste at all. That's what I want to see before I die. And a lot of gastrointestinal problems that we've been seeing are the result of lack of quality in bread. And I really wish I could ordain and organize the industry of bread that no one would ever need to throw it away and no one would ever get sick because of bread. Those are my wishes that I want to do, my goals in the industry of bread. They have a clap. They clap for Mr. Babakhani. Coordinator says, because of lack of time right now, we can have at least 2 questions. Anyone who's here could ask. The miss over there. Oh, Mr. Foroutan has something to say. Miss, could you please, Mr. Foroutan says, Miss, could you just slowly walk up so I can just say my piece? Ignoring festivities and fun activities in a European country to do an economical job or entrepreneurship job is a sign that shows this person truly loves their job and truly believes in their job and what they do, and they love it, and the people who are influential people have an outlasting impact, whether they're alive or not, on history and also on society because of purity of intention and things they want to achieve. That's why they would have that kind of impact. And I believe Mr. Mohammad Khani is one of those people, and is part of the people who's going to have a lasting impact on our country and its economy. Coordinator says, thank you. Miss, please, if you have a question, go on. I am Atusa Khabad, an internal architect, and I would like to say hi to every attendant and also lecturer. It's been very much useful to me. The questions I had throughout, I got answers to them throughout your speech. But the question that I want to ask right now, it might be something that not a lot of people are going to ask. And I've worked in the market for years, and I've been working under a lot of people, but right now I am trying to establish my own company and my own business, and I'm trying to do it with no capital, basically no investment. I want to just ask, where should I begin if I want to become a brand and become a successful business in the field that I am working under? What advice would you have for me in establishing a brand? Mr. Malkhani starts. I believe me and Mr. Foroutan should just pray for you, because the status and also things in our country, the overall status of our country is quite different from 4 years ago. But I believe the same things I've done I believe would be effective still. You have worked for many people in the industry and you're familiar, you're an expert, but I believe you should be also ambitious and also try to gain more experience and expertise, and also work with influential figures. And I am very much in your corner. I'm praying for you, and also any young person working right now. There seems to be another person in the back. Coordinator says, let's ask a question from him. If you could step forward, so you wouldn't have to hear it from Mr. Foroutan. He wants to see you. Please come on forward. So hi. Good evening. Your speech has been very useful. So, I am Moradi. What's your name? Mr. Foroutan says, what's your name? He says, I'm Moradi. Nice to meet you. They both say, nice to meet you. Mr. Moradi says, your business has flourished over the years, and right now there could things that could happen, and these would have a pressure that would be on the family, on everyone. When these things happen, when things get tight, what should you do? Mr. Foroutan, Mr. Mohammad agrees and says, yes, I agree. And these days, producing and production has been very tough and very hard. In my personal experience, because I really love what I do, I just don't give up. I've been getting hurt, and there are a lot of people annoying and hurting you. Like Mr. Foroutan, in the industrial city, is it possible to have in a single week, to not have electricity for 24 hours in the same week, for 2 times 24 hours, 2 days of the week you don't have electricity? Is it possible to have a good turnout after that? I ask you, is it possible to have a good turnout? Is it possible to continue production and not let your customers down? From this one single thing, we are suffering very much so. And there are other areas like unfortunately, like gasoline. If they want to provide us with gasoline, they do a lot of things that would have problems for us. One of the experiences that I wanted to say was in summer. They said they told us if there was ever a gas outage, or please have heaters who work on gasoline. So we did that. We invested in getting pumping for gasoline and stuff like that. We had to invest some money in that. And then we found out that the gasoline that they were giving to us, we just didn't have access to it. We couldn't do anything with it. If they told us that if you need it, you have to ask us and do it. And I told them, okay, you might not be accessible. You might be on Friday evenings going to evenings or doing something else. Like, why would that your solution? And when I was going through the accounting, also they found out that they had got a check from us for 840 million, and they told us and I asked them, like, what's going on? They said you have to if you need to use it, or if you use it without our permission or use it too much, that's the price for it, and that you're going to that's what you have to pay for. That's the price of that we're going to ask you. I have told some of my associates, like, how would they just tell me to leave the country, or how would you tell us to shut down production? But I don't give up. That's why, because I love the youth of my country, and I want to reach my goals and dreams, and I hope I do. And Mr. Foroutan says, I'm quoting Mr. Rafdari, we're not renting here. We are the owners of Iran. We should be here. And Mr. Khani says, yes, it is truly like that. Mr. Mohammad Khani says, if there's no question, then coordinator says, okay, anything you want to add on that? Mr. Mohammad Khani says, you talked about the university established. Before that, I established a factory that was in charge of the chemical and vitamins ingredients that we needed to put in our bread, because I saw the cycle, the production cycle of Iran. It's quite not established enough, quite not complete enough. And that small factory that I once established right now is becoming bigger and bigger, and it is approximately producing 150 tons of powdered products, and also other types of powder, like other types of products like paste. And also the chemical ingredients is produced over there, but you've seen the other products, for example, marmalade, chocolate powder, and we're also exporting in these ingredients, and also exporting machinery, and we're also exporting gluten-free bread as well. Only gluten-free bread is getting exported. Some people have a problem with gluten, which is not very well known in our country. When they eat gluten, they unfortunately bleed. Their stomach or their intestines bleed. So right now we've acquired the knowledge which is something impressive on our own. We have achieved this which took us a long time, but yes, with ingenuity and perseverance, we achieved producing that, and also we're exporting this to a lot of countries, just like Pakistan, who's suffering from this disease a lot. We are producing 25 kinds of bread for these people who are suffering from this disease, and the first production, we're piloting and testing it from other people, on people. We had a person who was very sick and was quite lightweight and was suffering from that. He really gained a lot of weight, and he himself brought me flowers, which was something very valuable and enjoyable for me. Mr. Foroutan starts. Mr. Khanmohammadi, you and your colleagues throughout the country are the soldiers and also admirals and also people who bring glory and honor to our country, and also in industries. Mr. Faroutan, Mr. Khanmohammadi says, thank you so much. I really like to thank you guys who listened to us well and clapped. And today I'm going to go add on to my branches on Sahar, and also I'm going to make more factories and that. And I'm not listening to anyone, not taking any bullies' words. Please, Mr. Mohammadi, take a seat. I am going to invite, coordinator says I'm going to invite Mr. Azar for the commendation part to commend Mr. Khanmohammadi. As a tradition, every person we're going to have to hear, we have 2 letters of condemnation. One of them is from Chame Institute, and also the other one from Paris Park of Technology. Mr. Faroutan, excuse me for a minute, please. Have this. This letter of condemnation is unique to that person. It's written for that person. Mr. Mehdi Khanmohammadi, the founder of Non-Sahar brand. You have built a future from dough with tired hands but a bright and hopeful heart. You have put bread and hope on the tables of millions of people. And Non-Sahar is not just bread. It is the hope that shows people you can make future and make everything, even though you have nothing right now. And we, as the youth of the country, would like to commend you for years of building and perseverance and your industry. May your success be forever and long-lasting. Thank you. Mr. Khanmohammadi, who is giving a gift as a representative of Mili application to our dear gift, the sponsor of today's and also Chame's event in general. We also have a letter of condemnation for Paris Park of Technology from Mr. Khanmohammadi. Our great country is indebted to great and committed entrepreneurs who have committed themselves to be of service to the service of the economy of the country. We feel obligated to recognize and cherish your efforts to this road and thank you for your valuable and voluntary participation in Intertech's technology exhibition. Head chairman of Paris Park of Technology, Mehdi, please have this, and alongside with the gift from one of the knowledge-intensive enterprises here. Thank you, Professor. Thank you, great lecturer. Please have a round of applause in the honor of Mr. Mehdi Khanmohammadi.
ممنونم آقای مهندس حذاوی عزیز. ارادت داریم. بزرگوار. استاد نخیر ما کار داریم با شما حالا بفرمایید خواهش میکنم. نه حال وقت داریم بفرمایید. آقا ساعت چنده آقای معبودی ساعت چنده؟ آقا بفرمایید. خب ما میدونید که گفتم قبل اینکه دوستان بیان یه شگفتانه خاص داریم فعلا یه کلیپ ببینیم تا عرض کنم خدمت.
This is Mr. Behrouz Foroutan, founder of Behrouz Food Industries, and his wife. He has never allowed his reputation and credibility to be tarnished. Behrouz was born in 1945 and is a graduate in management from the University of Tehran. To help his family, he did all kinds of work, from repairing bicycles to selling chocolates. His youthful mischief eventually caught up with him. He was so energetic that he ended up changing high schools 4 times. But behind that boundless energy was a curious and searching mind. He studied management at the University of Tehran and after graduating became a teacher. Later he moved into contracting work. But after one wrong business decision, he lost his home and became a tenant in what was once his own house. But with the same determination that his wife says is still alive in him to this day, he started over from scratch. Before long, he was able to establish his own company. It was just a step away from getting a workshop license when a fire destroyed everything, yet he didn't back down. He started again, this time stronger than before, and the Behrouz brand rose from the ashes. Today, at the 15th Chame event, we stand beside a man who built a brand with empty hands, Mr. Behrouz Foroutan, founder of Behrouz Food Industries. Well, the person who whistled earlier, that was quite amusing. Let's hear it again. Shall I try to? Now, let me tell you that we have a surprise for you, which you'll find out about later. Besides that, I'll ask Mr. Foroutan a couple of short questions, and then if anyone in the audience has any questions, we'll dedicate some time for a Q&A. So, Mr. Foroutan, please tell us about your teaching days. What qualities should a teacher have? The shoes on the other foot now? Is that a fair question? Is that a fair situation? First, tell me what time it is. 2:30. We have 30 minutes left. So, Teacher's Day then. I am proud that in every position I've held, its foundation was teaching. Teaching is not just standing at the blackboard. It's your behavior, your actions, your words, everything you have. As a member of society, you are a teacher. A teacher at the social level is someone who can always leave a positive footprint behind. Whether you have a spouse, a mother, a father, a colleague, a trader, whatever your role is, whatever you do, whatever your role is, first be a teacher and then the other thing. When we say teaching is the profession of prophets, it's because they always learn and they always teach. A teacher is like an honest, upright child who sincerely serves society. Teaching is not just a profession. It's a way of thinking. If we see teaching as merely a job, there are many more profitable ones. But the social value and dignity that teaching holds, in my view, teachers are the ultimate entrepreneurs of our society. Teachers we know and teachers we don't know, it doesn't matter. As a member of society, know this. For every success you achieve, for every decision you make, for every step you take, you are performing the role of a teacher. A teacher bears no grudges. A teacher is wise. A teacher is grounded in the past. When you are a teacher, you take responsibility for meeting needs and you become a helping hand of God. Well, sir, you don't accept the applause, do you? Since it's for me, I'll say nothing. Oh, he won't say anything because it's about him. Then I'll do the talking. Mr. Foroutan, when we were backstage, you said you owe a noticeable part of your success and your character to scouting. Tell us about scouting. What qualities shape you into who you are today? Scouting, in the previous era, government, was an educational system for all levels of society, from kindergarten to university, high school, and beyond. It could be called a voluntary army. Voluntary training. In scouting, I had the honor of being a student of this noble human school about 60 to 70 years. One principle mattered most. We don't see race, language, or government in this movement. We don't care about anyone's religion or personal interests. We say humans should hold three qualities: good thoughts, good words, and good deeds. This taught me that even without a supervisor, I should do one good deed or service for others at least once a day. If you know that you can be helpful to others but choose not to, no one will question you except the one inside you. Scouting is about interacting well and respecting others without expecting anything in return. If I do something for you and you return the favor, that's just an exchange. But in scouting, serving others is an obligation without expectation. Shall we have a round of applause? Well, let's move on to Q&A, and then we'll reveal the surprise. Shall we, Mr. Foroutan? Those with questions, let's start with the front row. Where's the mic? Give him the mic, please. Good thing he is up front so he can introduce himself quickly. Greetings, dear professor and respected audience. I have a question. Nowadays on social media, everyone's an analysis when it comes to gold currency and cryptocurrency. And everyone is warning us against going into manufacturing, both those with credentials and education and those without. They say manufacturing in today's Iran is not profitable. What's your opinion? They don't find production lucrative. Whoever said that, they were right. In a society where the economy follows politics, this is the result. Manufacturing has its own culture, trade has its own culture, and politics has its own culture. We as producers and thinkers have an approach to politics, the same way we do in driving and medicine, but we don't do politics. If we are drawn into politics, as unfortunately has happened, it's a mistake. I hope that soon whoever is managing the country will adopt a method that allows people to think freely and creates economic security. Money is like a butterfly. The moment it's harmed, it flies away. Money and the economy only stays where there's safety. Now, if a few people like you and me who love our country still stand to build it, that's because of our national belief and philosophy. But overall, the economy grows where there is economic and social security. At present, I believe if we want to start a major economic venture, we shouldn't do it without consulting. And even with consulting, the risk will still be there, but less so. So, sir, from an economic standpoint, for those of us starting from scratch, would you say entering manufacturing has a 50-50% risk? I appreciate your participation, but not just on your own. No, not by yourself. The person in the black t-shirt, give him the mic, please. Can you come closer, please? Closer, please. A bit closer. Greetings to you, dear Mr. Foroutan, and to all the friends here. You're very dear and valuable to us. What I've learned from you over these past 2 days is your beautiful saying, don't partner with your friends and don't befriend your partners. That's what I want to ask you about. I believe many participants here will understand my concerns. And since you are one of the country's top employers and also a teacher, and many people come to you for advice and share their worries. I'd like to talk to you about these concerns from myself and other friends. Whether others have mentioned this to you or not, and whether you feel the same, I'd like your guidance on how to deal with it. In the path of job creation or entrepreneurship for someone like me, who was an employee who dared to step out and start my own work and brand, I've lost some friends along the way. Some relationships break down, mostly as far as I know from my side. Many other friends working in this field who are almost entrepreneurs themselves experience this too. Even among friends and family, these bonds grow weaker. And when we try to hold on to our friendships, it can sometimes make things worse. It's true that it opens doors for new relationships, but for me, someone who is emotional and social and who has always had a wide network, this is quite bothersome for me. First, have you and others experienced this? And do you believe it's a real issue? If so, how do you deal with it? And please offer me a solution. Thank you. Balance means measure. It means standard. You gain something and lose something in the process. When we leave elementary school, we lose those friends, then move to high school, to college, and rise higher. When you compare what you lose with what you gain, the balance tells you which side you must choose. Always remember this. You have two personalities, two sides. Are you a sensitive person? That's your personal matter. But once you enter society, you must evaluate your decisions based on social rules. It's great to have emotions, to visit each other's homes, socialize freely, converse, joke, cry together, enjoy life. But once you step into the professional scene, economic management has no space for emotions. I'm telling you this because I made a mistake. The path I took was a dead end. And I do not recommend it to you. As a father figure, as a citizen, as an Iranian, as someone who has played a role, and as an entrepreneur, I advise you, as I mentioned yesterday, and now I find it timely to repeat, have passion, have emotions, but don't act passionately and emotionally. If you do, management will take control of you instead of you managing it. Never respond to people on this spot. Always postpone your answer to tomorrow or at least to 30 minutes later. Think it through first, then answer. What was my mistake? Throughout my life, in my teaching career, which I still pursue socially, and in my work at Zobahan Iran industry and building, more than a few, all of it turned to dust. Why? Because I responded with emotions and passion. I answered questions on the spot. I had to leave everything behind. Life, house, cars, villa, except for one thing I kept for myself. My children. Do not lose your dignity and reputation. I lost everything just to protect mine. The more I endured these hardships, the more I realized after 80 years that I have no right to hide this truth. And I must say it to the children of Iran, men and women, citizens, whoever you are, wherever you are, even with your closest family, your parents, your siblings, behave however you like at home. But once you step outside, you are a manager, you're a boss, and a manager cannot afford to make mistakes, cannot afford emotions and excitement. On the project of management, I have many unwritten rules. A manager who has never made a mistake is not a manager. And a manager who repeats the same mistake is also not a manager. Write this down. It is a product of years of experience. A manager who never makes a mistake once isn't a manager. A manager who repeats a mistake isn't a manager either. Learn to participate in society and consult with others. Keep honesty in your words. Learn to say no when necessary. One no that brings honor is better than a yes that leads to suffering. If you don't want to negotiate or cooperate with someone, don't force yourself. Simply part ways politely. You are here to live, not just exist. Not just to be born one day and die another. Leave your mark. Serve others. But remember, what we truly own is the breadth of our lives, not its length. Make the breadth of your life greater than its length, like Amir Kabir, like Pastor, like Kamal al-Mulk. Many have a life whose breadth is greater than its length. Why? Because the breadth of life is goodness, fulfillment, knowledge, service, seeing others, and giving value. These form the crown of human values. Professional conscience. Never bargain away your professional conscience. Have feelings, but act with a wise heart. Thank you. We still have time for one more question. The gentleman at the back, on the left. Please come forward. Hello, sir. Hello, from where? From here. I can't see you. Come forward. Why are you so lovely? Because I like it that way. Come forward. Guys, as he comes forward, give me some energy. I don't accept it. You don't have the energy you had in the morning. Ladies and gentlemen, Amir Reza Sabit Pay, the CEO of Nomino Food Industries. We are honored to have Mr. Sabit Pay here today solely with the intention of honoring our dear teacher Behrouz Foroutan. Welcome warmly. Mr. Khanmohammadi, you too, please, on the stage. Mr. Mohammad Zade. Please give an applause worthy of our teacher and a major figure in our country's industry, Behrouz Foroutan. As with all our distinguished guests today, thanks to our dear teacher, Mr. Foroutan, we wish to honor him. Let me read this commendation for our dear Mr. Foroutan. A tale was told. The river of good fortune flows after the righteous. To the tablet of the creator of thoughts and action, offered to the heart in the darkness of doubts, one who not only created jobs, but also hope, one who spent his youth building Iran and stayed bearing all his hardships so the homeland might endure. Mr. Foroutan, founder of the Behrouz brand, from a simple room and jam jars filled by hand to a factory whose name gave meaning to the taste of work and effort for a nation. You didn't just make products. You created a story that began with loss, but through perseverance, and overcoming trials became an enduring model. You prove that you can lose your capital but not your hope, and you can rebuild your capital if belief remains. You taught us that entrepreneurship is not just starting a production line, but lighting a lamp in the dark night of distrust. For us, you are not only an entrepreneur, but also a teacher of courage, perseverance, and integrity. We, the youth of today, heirs of the tomorrow you built, kiss your hands in gratitude for a lifetime of building and standing tall. May your shadow remain long and your path illuminate ours. Let's have a round of applause. A gold bar gift from our sponsor Chame, presented by Mr. Sabit Pay, in the presence of Mr. Khanmohammadi, is given to dear Mr. Foroutan. And this commendation from Pardees Technology Park. The honor of the homeland is owed to the tireless efforts of committed and capable entrepreneurs who, under divine grace, have devoted their determination to creating value in the economy and promoting a culture of entrepreneurship in our country. It is fitting to thank you for your abundant efforts, your voluntary and valuable presence at the International Innotex Technology Exhibition, and your generosity in sharing your knowledge and experience with the younger generation for the advancement of Iran. Presented on behalf of Mehdi Safariniya, Pardees Technology Park. Mr. Khanmohammadi, please present this as well, along with a gift from one of the knowledge-based companies at the park, presented by Mr. Hezave. Mr. Sabit Pay, please share a few words with us. Hello and greetings to everyone. I'm honored to be among experts like Mr. Foroutan and Mr. Khanmohammadi. I'm happy to be here. Please share a few sentences about Mr. Foroutan. If you say anything bad, I'll leave. Let's all sit down. You weren't here when Mr. Foroutan asked Mr. Khanmohammadi to sing. Please applaud Mr. Hezave. We should thank Pardees Technology Park. Their cooperation and support helped us do our utmost to create a high-quality program worthy of you. Please applaud them once more. Mr. Sabit Pay. Mr. Sabit Pay has a great voice. I only sing in the shower. Well, this is a shower too. To describe Mr. Foroutan in one sentence, we have a mutual friend whose brother is one of the top 5 most powerful in the government. Some time ago, we were both invited somewhere. I noticed he said he had lost contact with Mr. Foroutan for some time. I asked him why. He said he's so charitable that he messages me every day to ask for help for someone who is in need. So I stopped contacting him because I couldn't keep up with the charity requests. This shows you what kind of person Mr. Foroutan is. A friend broke contact with him because he's someone whose whole life is about solving people's problems. It was, I think it's Khanmohammadi, because he's not answering my messages. I'm kidding. Mr. Khanmohammadi, your turn. I think everyone knows Mr. Foroutan. I have so many good memories with him that I don't know which one to choose. I can just say he has been truly impactful in my life. His behavior and conduct have shaped my personal and business life. I love him dearly and wish him health. Mr. Foroutan, dear children of Iran, I want to pass the flag to you. Iran will never be empty of standard bearers. People come and go, but the flag remains. The flag is the symbol of our nation. Our Iran stands tall when you are its flag bearers and commanders. Iran is not merely land, it is a homeland. We cherish it because it is flourishing. We own Iran. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a standing ovation for Mr. Foroutan. Thank you, sir. We must say goodbye to him now, and we are honored to continue with Mr. Sabit Pay. Mr. Foroutan has to be somewhere at 3 o'clock, so we'll say farewell to him. A round of applause, please. Thank you, Mr. Khanmohammadi. That was very nice of you. Another round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, we are so glad to have you here. Thank you for attending. We had a short conversation with Mr. Sabit Pay at the 14th Chame, which I recommend you watch. It was also a memorable discussion. Mr. Sabit Pay, I have a few questions for you. I think I speak for myself and others here when I say we'd like to leave today with a bag full of knowledge. In your opinion, what is the biggest problem or challenge today for people our age who are starting a business? What is the most important thing they don't know but should learn and be trained for? Someone also asked Mr. Foroutan whether they should put their money into currency and gold instead of business. I'll answer both questions together. An idea plus execution, and execution is even more important than the idea. And above all, capital. If you have the idea, the execution, and the capital, then definitely go into production. But if you're missing any of these, I think entering production is a mistake. These are prerequisites. You need to find a solid idea and have enough capital For example, if today someone wants to enter production and manufacturing with 2 to 10 billion 2 months, I'd say don't do it. Even if you have the idea and execution with that amount of money, you're more likely to lose it than to gain anything. You'd better off putting it into gold or foreign currency to protect its value. Gold is better than currency because global gold prices are rising compared to the dollar. It's on an upward trend. This way, you keep your money safe until you reach the level of capital where you can actually use it for manufacturing and production. Mr. Sabetpay, what is your most important entrepreneurial experience? You've been an entrepreneur for many years, and from our previous discussion, your path was greatly inspired by Mr. Foroutan's journey. You truly lived through that experience. What has entrepreneurship taught you? Well, my life has been tied to new experiences every single day. This year is probably the 24th or 25th year in my career. I started in the year 2000, and from the beginning it had its unique challenges. Every day brought something new from the moment I entered the market. One of my early ideas was ready-made food, something that didn't exist industrially in the country before. I wouldn't recommend that anyone without the right infrastructure go into something entirely new. If I had today's wisdom back then, instead of going after producing something like the Olivia salad, which no one else was making and looking for, I might have gone into something like chewing gum production, and my growth at that stage might have been better. This is just an example. It's better if you ask me specifically about a certain area so I can share my direct experience, because in over 2 decades of work, I've gone through constant changes, challenges, and different kinds of experiences. I think I can rephrase my earlier question like this. In your opinion, in today's climate, is production still feasible? It's a question that that's been asked by me and others several times. Is it still viable? Yes, it is. And what rules should be followed? As I said, a good idea and strong execution. You can't be in the process and be lost, outsourcing everything without knowing anything yourself. And of course, capital is very important. So you don't see production as hopeless right now. Not at all. For example, even in this poor economy, we still create 1 or 2 industries a year in different fields. But we've reached a stage where we use profits to create jobs and then use those jobs to generate more profit. It's like a ping pong effect. Large companies like ours, if we can be counted as one, have reached the point where we can use our profit to expand into other industries because we have the financial backing. And we never rush recklessly into projects. Even when we want to launch a new product in the food industry, we always check the market first. Sales value, competitors, foreign competitors, our own capabilities, competitive advantages, and so on. When all of that checks out positively, we enter the market, and when we do, we succeed about 80 to 90% of the time. In about 20% of cases, a product might fail due
من
to
یه سوالم دارم به نظرم
maybe
شاید
luck.
سوال بقیه هم باشه.
I have a question. Maybe others
نظرتون
here
راجع به
have the same
مذاکراتی که داره انجام
question.
میگیره چیه؟
What's your opinion
یعنی
about the
آیندهش رو
upcoming
چطور می‌بینین؟
negotiations?
کلاً اصلش رو
How
چطور
do you
می‌بینین؟
see their future
ما
and
سوال
how do you
سیاسی تو
view
2
the
روز
process
گذشته سوال
itself?
سیاسی نپرسیدیم حالا دیگه.
I haven't
شما
asked
اومدین
any
سوال سیاسی
political questions in the past 2 days, but since you're here, I will. Well, I don't see this as purely political, it's mostly economic. At the beginning of the year, many friends asked me how I see the year ahead. I said it's going to be very binary year. Either things will completely fall apart or they will improve significantly, and I believe things will improve. I think both the system and the world are moving toward peace and cooperation, and I believe an agreement will be reached. If I were in Mr. Pezeshkian's place, instead of sending Mr. Arakchi at the first stage, I would have sent people like Amir Sabit and others for an economic negotiation first, before the political talks. Because this person, Vitkov, who has come, is completely an economic figure, so a team of economic professionals should speak to him. And by economic team, I don't mean the Minister of Economy or the Minister of Industry and Mining. Those are academic people who may never have signed 10 sales contracts in their life. In a negotiation, you need people who know how to buy something cheaper or sell something at a higher price. People who understand the psychology of business. So I would send a team of traders to talk business with the Americans. They want economic deals too. It's a win-win situation, not giving away the win, but creating mutual benefit. Today, in our country, we have the space and cycle for doing business well. What we lack is foreign investment, and America could bring that. The cycle would move, and when they invest, they profit, and we profit too, because infrastructure gets built, money flows in, and we both win. I believe if the negotiating team were made of market experienced business people, not ministry trained economists, it would be more effective. After all, Trump himself is a businessman. We should send a businessman to speak to him. I'm joking when I say I could have been part of it, but maybe if I win myself, I could handle it to some extent.
آقا شما تجربه های خب متعددی دارین چطور
Mr. Sabit Pay, you have a lot of experience, but how can we take a brand abroad nowadays? How did you take your own brand abroad? Well, because of the type of food we produce and its shelf life, we can't send it anywhere except in nearby countries, places like Iraq, Afghanistan, and the like. Do you have factories in these countries? No, we only export, but we might start something in Iraq very soon. Iran has the capabilities to make it happen, and the political climate there is friendly towards us too. We might do this. We've done our exports with the countries around us. Besides our own food products, we also export things like processed meat and sauces. I think the flavor and taste of Iranian food suits their preferences more than European products, especially in processed meats. Or ours are tastier, our production costs are better, our energy and labor are cheaper, and some of our raw materials are cheaper than in foreign countries, globally. The production process itself, depending on the type of ingredients, can affect the final product cost anywhere from 10% to 40 to 50%. If you take today's wages, for example, say 20 million 2 months a month, that's the salary. That's about $300, while the global minimum wage is around 1,000 to 2,000%. This gap in labor cost directly affects the final price. That price, the taste, plus the price advantage are big strengths for us. And in the food industry, we can proudly say that compared to the rest of the world, we're not behind at all. From packaging to quality, processing methods, and machinery. If you look at foreign countries, if you look at a place like the UAE, you'll find products from all over the world in their stores. If you find something from a country like the Netherlands or France that we don't have an equivalent for in Iran, I'll buy into that idea. I'll buy that idea. What I mean is we've performed very well in this industry. It's an honor for all of us. Round of applause, please, for figures like you. Mr. Sabet Pay, what should the marketing strategy in Iran be? What is your marketing strategy? I'm not sure exactly what you mean by strategy. Let's say a food product, you want to introduce it to the market here. What should the strategy be? How should you do it? It depends on the product. You have to consider the size of the market for it, where it fits, where it doesn't, and which region's taste matches the product. The season matters too. What time of year you choose to launch it. Every product has its own strategy depending on the region and the season. It's a very, very general question, but the answer will always be specific to the product. Okay, we have enough time to answer one or two more questions. The gentleman at the end of the salon, please give him a mic. Please come forward too, please. The gentleman who raised his hand. Yes, go ahead. Please give him the mic. Hello and greetings. I'm Arvin Sheshbari from Qazvin. We have a store there. About the japata sandwiches in the market. Foods like the Olivier salad do well because they're exclusive to one or two brands. But sandwiches, we have more than 10 brands doing well with good quality. So, as a producer, what plans do you have to put your products on shelves as Nomino instead of other brands? So that your brand sells well and not the other ones. About sandwiches, maybe we have about 10 to 20 brands enter the market each year and the same number leave. Producing them is basically an assembly job. You could make them in your home kitchen. In a factory, sure, it's cleaner, it's more hygienic, but the process is the same as what you do in your kitchen to make a sandwich. Nothing particular happens that's different from factories. What really matters is distribution. For example, we have two distribution factories, one in Tehran and one in Isfahan. We serve north of the country from Tehran and the south of the country from Isfahan. If we produce a product today, we can ship it overnight to places like Chabahar, Bazargan, Birjan, and Bujnoor. That could change. That cold chain distribution is the most important thing, especially for short shelf life products. Some brands succeed because they have a strong distribution chain, like Kale. Others fail because they only distribute locally with just a few trucks in a small area. For perishable foods, having that cold chain in place is very, very critical. Thank you very much. You gentlemen here, please come forward. Dr. Sabit Pay, in order to be here and attend today's commendation, he was going to be in Barcelona, but he cancelled it. Please applaud them for their kindness. It's our honor to have him here. Hello and greetings to everyone, sir. I'm Mohammad Mehdi Khanmohammadi, 24 years old, and I want to start producing food products. Is it better to focus on one product or produce 10 different ones? And how do I compete with a brand like Nomino? Should I just focus on one product like a Olivier salad? Because most of these factories have the lifespan of a few years and they will go extinct maybe. How can I go step by step like you? As I said before, capital is very important. It affects how much you can produce. I don't recommend starting with very small capital unless you already have special facilities. Say your father has a warehouse you can use. In that case, I believe starting with a single product and targeting a small part of the market and the country is the best. If you try to compete directly with big companies from the start, you'll get crushed in their gears. But if you claim a small niche for yourself, you can grow from there, little by little. So start one product and grow gradually, yes? Exactly, the product must have a unique advantage. If you make the same sandwich, like I do, it's the same product with the same quality, It's unlikely you'll compete with big companies, but as a customer, would you as a customer risk buying something new when you've trusted, for example, Nomino for 20 years and haven't had any problems with it, and buy this new brand? You have to give consumers a reason to take that risk because of that advantage. Whether it's an added feature, the better price, better packaging, or a different taste. You must draw the customer in to something with a strong reason. You have to convince the customer to buy it. Oh, so for example, in southern Iran, where people like spicy food, I should make a product with extra heat that others don't offer. Then we can compete. We have enough time for another question. Hello, greetings. I own a music store. From what we've seen, most entrepreneurs started small and with Dr. Nabi too. They all started small and grew step by step. We rarely hear about someone starting with 10 or 20 billion 2 months from family capital. Why do you say we should start big? And that this step-by-step approach isn't as effective in this day and age. For me, success rate is the priority. Maybe thousands of people start small every year and lose everything, and only a handful survive. The idea and execution matters most. If your capital is small, start very small. Don't throw yourself into the ocean. Don't start with something huge like buying 50 trucks right away for distribution. That will destroy your capital in a couple of months and will cost you 70 to 80 million a month. Start with one truck, a small area, and a unique product. Competing with something everyone already knows is not wise. For example, does anyone walk into a store and ask for packaged DZ, packaged stew? No, people know DZ, but they don't buy it from stores. Make that product and send it to the stores, but no one will buy it because they expect it from restaurants. Selling it in stores would require huge advertising to change behavior, like billboards, television, 360 advertising, so that they find out, oh, you can get this stew from stores too. So choose a product people already ask for, like a chewing gum, but give it an advantage with like for example, a gum with a reusable tin box. That unique edge is key. So since you have your own venture capital firm, what's an idea you recently found interesting? In the food industry or in general? No, everywhere. My intention is simply to share an idea with the group that align with what you have in mind. Whether or not it gets implemented depends on the entrepreneurial team. That's another matter. Let me give you an example. 2 years ago, our group conducted research on the coffee market. We studied it, saw how competitors entered the field, how they operated, and then examined the global market for coffee. We analyzed demand trends, and only then did we decide to enter. When I say this, I'm not trying to brag or make myself sound very big. I mean, I'm referring to larger companies whose process is very different. For example, when we decided to enter the coffee business, I imported the best coffee line available in the world, a line that nobody else in Iran has. I did something unique in coffee. The product we produce is also special because we had already studied the market and saw there was demand for it. In fact, we might have even entered late. Instead of over researching, we should have just acted because I knew from the beginning that the market could be attractive, but I entered late. So after studying the market's appeal, we entered. How? Please don't take this as advertising. I'm speaking from another perspective. In Iran, I'd say 90 to 95% of the coffee you see is roasted just enough to make it dark, but not fully. It's not properly roasted. Even those that are roasted often use or machines, and the roasting isn't done professionally. That's why we brought in a machine from Italy that roasts coffee at very high temperatures. If, for example, you see a coffee labeled as 30% Arabica and 7% Robusta in high-end areas, it's often roasted locally with whatever machine they have. Someone might put a sack of beans in front of you and say, this is such and such coffee. But that's just one variant of the coffee plant. But when we make a 70-30 blend coffee, we're not saying 70% of it is Arabica. That doesn't mean it's just one kind of Arabica bean. Even Arabica itself has many variants. Arabica from Ethiopia, from the Philippines, from Thailand, from Brazil, from Colombia. Easily 10 different types of beans in that single Arabica category. That's a professional approach and creates a professional taste. In that market, our thought process was if someone tries this brand, they should immediately notice the difference in taste and quality. Forget the marketing, packaging, and advertising for a moment. The first step and the same advice I would give you when starting out is to make sure that from the very first taste, the customer feels good about the product. Thank you. Well, the gentleman in black raised his hand and said, and I thought he said that we were out of time, but he had a question. Please go ahead, sir. Please speak loudly. Hello, everyone. I'm happy to see my fellow townsmen here. It's an honor. I'm Mohammad Amini, social media specialist, an expert especially on Instagram. My question is about advertising. Most of the questions so far have been personal, but mine could be useful to everyone, even you, sir. Did you consider the return on investment for Nomino's traditional advertising? Or was it simply because your competitors were doing traditional advertising? Or did you truly believe in the ROI for traditional ads? If I say I didn't fully understand your point, Let me rephrase. Traditional advertising is costly. TV, for example. How do you get back the investment you spent on it? See, this is one of those things you can't measure exactly. How much that ad directly impacted your sales, it's not something you can precisely calculate. But what you're hinting at, that digital advertising is far better, that's correct. It's much more cost effective too. For example, we had a 400 billion 2-month contract with national TV, and last year I argued and negotiated with them so much that I reduced it to 100 billion 2 months because I saw we weren't getting the desired results. And if I put even 10 to 20% of that money into digital advertising, the returns would be better. You've also answered my next question, whether you plan to shift more investment from traditional to digital advertising. Because we've estimated that big brands can reach millions of Instagram followers at 1% of the cost they spend on traditional advertising. And millions of Instagram views are definitely more effective than a single TV ad. So we have two separate types of advertising: brand advertisement and product advertising. If I want to promote the Nomino brand, I might put it on a referee's t-shirt and it would raise awareness. But would people know Nomino also makes sandwiches? Advertising a brand is different from advertising a product. If you want a brand to be recognized and to secure its place in the market, the product needs to be visible everywhere, from billboards to TV to social media. Yes, but if you want to sell product, advertising a brand and a product is different. But if I produce sandwiches and I don't do 360 advertising, people won't be aware of it and buy it from the stores. Yes, but as someone who specializes in social media, I've seen that, for example, the Capo brand grew significantly through influencer market and food bloggers and cooking bloggers. They advertise it and it was in the market too. It didn't have the 360 advertising you mentioned, but still did well. So I can fully agree with you there. But Capo did have 360 advertising. It was on TV, billboards, everywhere. Anyways, that's just my opinion. Ladies and gentlemen, please a round of applause for Mohammad Reza Sabit Bey. Sir, we are very thankful to you. It was an honor to have you here, both for me and for all of Chame. I hope you promise to visit us in Isfahan so that we can come to you and give you a visit. You're very welcome. I'd be glad. We have a small token of appreciation for you, but we'll give you the rest when we come to you in Isfahan. This is a gift from the sponsor of the 15th Chame National event, which is active in the online gold trading market. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Mr. Sabit Bey. The Chame Appreciation Plaque and the Pardis Technology Park gift will be presented to you when we meet in Isfahan. Just to add, today I only plan to come and read Mr. Foroutan. I'm not sure how it turned into a Q&A session. Thank you so much, sir. We were glad to have you here. Thank you for being patient. Let's take a picture together, everyone, with Mr. Sabit Pay and wrap up today's Chame. Please turn on the lights so everyone can be visible in the photos. Please come here for the picture. Dr. Khanmohammadi, please come up here on the stage. Mr. Hezave, you too, please. Any of the attendees are also welcome to join us on the stage. Come forward, please, everyone. It will be a beautiful picture. Also, the music you're hearing is for Chame, composed by Mr. Qanimati, one of our country's great artists, especially for this event and for Chame. Please give a round of applause to everyone from Chame. Look at the cameraman, please. Look at the photographer. Again, lights on. Please turn the lights on. Everyone, gather to the front for the photo. All good? Thank you.